October 1st, 2022. It's over. It's all over. I've done it. I've finally done it. After a lifetime, what's felt like trillions of years of work and everything a person could possibly experience, as I've said. Talked about this in great detail. It is over. Okay, it's through everything, through all my work, as I've talked about my entire life. It's been for just this one video. I know it for sure now. It is over. This is the ultimate proof. This is it. It was so simple this entire time, but like I was saying, it was so hard to notice because it was so good. It was so good. So damn good. Like I was saying, we often ignore the best possible things to do because, like I said, pride is the opposite of what's best. It's the worst, so we choose to do what's worst or something only a few steps above it. That's why I've been revealing all these things that were dead giveaways that if you just looked a little bit here and there, if you just took a little bit of time with a little bit of patience, you could notice these things debunked all major world religions, proved neurotypicals are crazy, proved all these crazy things. But look, it's over, all right? This is it. I've finally done it after all this time. This is the ultimate proof of everything I've been saying. This is other ones I've had in the past, even in the past 2 days, 3 days, doesn't matter. They've all been great, like I was saying, but nothing compares to this one. I don't see how it could get any better than this because this literally incorporates every single thing I've ever talked about thus far, and it pretty much, I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely gotta be in the top 10 best possible proofs a person could ever give, according to the laws of logic and possibility, to prove that all major world religions are garbage and they're wrong, and all the other things I've been saying. Not all the other things, but a lot of the other things. So, pretty much everything I was saying. So, brace yourself because this is going to knock your socks off. This is going to blow you away. Whenever you realize it's true, whether that's, immediately or not. So look, here we go. Here we go. This is so mind-boggling, but it was so obvious the entire time. Think about what I was saying. Think about what I was saying about hierarchies. Now apply that to a hierarchy, to the concept. Now imagine this, a concept of a hierarchy that has every single possible hierarchy in existence within it. Every single one. And you draw this on a diagram. If you do this, I am certain that you will see that every single hierarchy, aside from the hierarchy of the true definitive hierarchy of spirituality, will actually be on the bottom, on the lower levels. They absolutely will be. Whereas the absolute best religion, the best philosophy of all time, the best religion of all time that I have created, I mean, not created, but literally kind of created with others helping, that I brought to attention on this channel, it would be at the top. And it all goes back to what I was saying with hierarchies and these other things. It's all built up to this. Anyway, I've talked about this time and time again. All right, so look. Remember, higher quality means less quantity. That means my stuff, my religion, it's at the top in hierarchy of all hierarchies. Or at least anything that goes along with it would be at the top because it would incorporate less things for more quality. Whereas all these other things would be more common. And therefore there's more things. There's more of there's more of those hierarchies than there is of anything like any hierarchy similar to mine. Therefore, it would be at the top. And in a definitive hierarchy of all hierarchies, then whatever's at the top is the best. It is actually the most correct, and it's just the best. So there you go. That's literally the most I could say. I could draw this, of course, to make this more obvious, make it easier to notice. You can actually see that this has to be the case. It finally dawned on me today. I'm not going to say exactly when, but after thinking about how probably everything could possibly work ever in existence, somehow my brain wanted me to do that instead and just jump to this conclusion for whatever possible reasons. Alright, so here we go. Here we go. The definitive spiritual hierarchy at the top, which is what I created in that video. Then, sorry, it's blurry. I don't know why it's, whatever. I don't know how to use this camera, but look, the bottom line is this, alright. Definitive spiritual hierarchy at the top, every other hierarchy that exists below it, and this entire blue triangle is every single hierarchy that could possibly exist, as I said. And of course the definitive spiritual hierarchy would be smaller, since after all, it is literally, there are less, all religious hierarchies are literally, they're all compressed into this one, into this definitive spiritual hierarchy, because it assesses every single one. Every other hierarchy that exists is here. That means that, because it's more things, this is just religion, and yeah, so that's one way to view this, is what I'm saying. That means that whatever this is like is at the top. This means the pattern is that the more quantity, the worse it is. So then you go up and it's just higher quality. So there you go. So essentially that means that whatever this is, the true definitive spiritual hierarchy is less about quantity and more about quality. And there's no reason to think that any other hierarchy, that all the other hierarchies would have less stuff composed in it than just the definitive spiritual hierarchy. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is closer to the more hierarchy, there's more hierarchies. There's like trillions of hierarchies, possible hierarchies, right? But then for spirituality, there's not. It's just this. But so that's what I'm saying. It's close to that. And it's like, you could say it's that, but really it's more about how it's all the other hierarchies would take more space up because they have more in each hierarchy there's more things. In all these other hierarchies there's more things involved. You just take the definitive spiritual hierarchy, it would be pushed to the top out of every hierarchy that exists. One of them is the definitive spiritual hierarchy, but it would be pushed to the top. It just has less things in it. As far as like, I don't know, like rules and regulations and stuff. So there you go. You could argue that you could take any other hierarchy within this just throw it at the top. But, however, that's still a problem, right? Okay, so I'm going to follow this up. I'm going to follow this up with a different hierarchy to support it. But for now, I circled that. That's the definitive one. And then you bring it down here, and mine is at the top. It has less content. Has less. It can be summed up in fewer words than any other one religion can be. So it's pushed to the top. Because, like I said, when it comes to religion, and spiritual things, it's like the less there is, the better it is. So, following a strict set of guidelines, that's how it has to be. And in any hierarchy, that's how it has to be. Any true hierarchy, since after all, there's more at the bottom and less at the top. At the top is higher quality. So, for whatever the hierarchy, for whatever the motives are of the hierarchy. So, sorry about that. So, yeah, so as I was saying, now here's what you could do. If that doesn't convince you, there's another thing to do. You can just use this hierarchy thing and apply it to any hierarchy. And put any hierarchy in. You can use any combination until you finally realize that my religion is at the top, or that the God of my religion is at the top. So, there you go. You could use how many things does the God of my religion, how quantitative is my God versus the gods of other religions, You can make it that easy. Or the number of things that the God of my religion would do in a hierarchy of the number of things the gods of other religions would do, and mine would be at the top because it'd be less things to do. It would do less things, yet be more effective. But the other way to do it is the general populace's the amount of followers for a religion. Surely mine would be at the top at that point, and the others would be at the bottom. Since there would be more followers for those religions in a diagram like this at the bottom than at the top. Way, way, way more followers. Like right here, all of this would be all the followers for those other religions, and here's the amount of mine, even less than this. It's like way up there. And then, at least on Earth anyway, right? Or even if you wanted to say in all of existence, actually, it'd still be way up there. And so, not necessarily, because here's the thing, like I said, there's been, how do I put it? Like I said, the afterlife has all these, souls, which are, already turned to God. So technically they have the same religion. So they'd be, according to my religion, so basically they would be all the way at the top. Or at least that's what I thought. In terms of how many followers, quantity of followers, my religion, that would be actually way more than just me. Way more people. It'd be all the people in history, arguably, that have already passed into the afterlife. So, not a good way to put it. I guess a better way to put it would be, maybe if you did it in like some earlier point in history, maybe that it would be, drastically different, of course, but still. Like the first generation or whatever, then most would be of a similar mind about, religion. Then, my religion would be, the amounts would be on the bottom, and the top would be, the amount of followers for mine at the time, if there even was any. I think it would only have been God, so. The other thing is that if my religion really were true, then there would be less followers. And if there's less followers, then, well, like I said, not necessarily less followers, but only on Earth, really, not in all of existence. So you can't, I wouldn't really do that for the hierarchy. I tried different ways to do this, so, there you go, like, something that, actually targets, like, the information that we're focusing on specifically, like, that itself is actually it going to tell you what the answer is. Like, every other hierarchy that exists has more information in it. Like, any one religion on its own has more information in it than mine. I don't want to say more information in it than mine does without proving it in this video, but yeah, I mean, I'd refer you to all my other videos for that. That's why I brought this up. Like, it can be summed up with a few words and conclusions, like, and every other religion can, but is it more words? I mean, and do the words take up as much space on the diagram? I don't know. You see, it's just, so that's why it depends. Could you substitute it with any other religion and have it be that's the same amount of space on the diagram? I don't know. I really don't. That's just, again, that's just the words, Basically what I was trying to do is show that if you put my religion on a hierarchy of all religions, like, you have to draw it out, and like, how, if mine really was better, then it would be at the top of the hierarchy of all religions. It just would have to be. Whichever one is actually at the top. But to visually represent this, it has to be through words. You can't represent the religion on a hierarchy diagram without words to sum it up. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. So, I mean, literally, I don't know how else to put it. Like, you could use the more extreme way of doing it. Like I said, every other hierarchy that exists. But then could you take a hierarchy in every other hierarchy that exists and then have it be, like, actually have it be less words than the definitive spiritual hierarchy, or have it be less content? I don't know. Just know this: a spiritual hierarchy has a finite amount of content, and the content is specifically religious and spiritual things. It's philosophical things as the subject matter. Otherwise, it could just talk about anything and say anything about everything, but it just doesn't. Nor do these other religions. So that's why it has much less to it. But, there's a lot of other hierarchies out there which have a lot of information in them as well, but they can be reduced because they don't have something to say about every single thing. There you have it. Don't know how else to put it. But yeah. I mean, I could try to do this with, on my off time, on my own time, after this video, to try to draw this out or figure out how it would be represented on the diagram. If it was hierarchy of all hierarchies, like, I mean, a hierarchy of all hierarchies, I'm not sure that religion would necessarily be at the top of all hierarchies. Because a hierarchy of all hierarchies is a hierarchy of all things that exist. So basically, technically, I'm wrong about this, actually. I think it'd be more like God would be at the top, since, I guess God is at the top of everything, since he's the best He's the best thing that exists. So therefore, God will be at the top. But God is not synonymous with religion. He's not synonymous with spirituality or spiritual values. So, even though those are some of the best things in existence, and I mean this the best spiritual values. So, although, yeah, so now that of course begs the question. Here's the thing with God: we can sum up God in a few words. That's why God will be at the top on this hierarchy, because if you wrote down a few words to sum him up, I guess it just somehow amounts to less words in a hierarchy of all things. So, and of course, I don't know. I mean, if he really is the best, then. But whatever the best is, has to be at the top. I don't see how anything could be better than God. I don't know, maybe justice or something, right? Like I said, I don't think God is justice. I think that justice is just can be summed up very quickly in a few words. You just say, well, what is right? What is right instead of wrong, or like something like that. Then every other thing that exists, you could say, I don't know, like, well, what is right? What is rather than what is wrong, and what is fair? If I was right about it being, fairness, of being a component of justice, then you'd have every other thing that exists, and then like they would need more. I guess they would have to say more things to back up their own claims, because there'd be more lies to them, because they'd be of a lower quality. They'd be more irrational and out of touch with reality, and lies are bad because they're out of touch with reality. So there had to be they'd do more things, I guess, or there'd be more things to them. So there'd have to be more to be written down about them, regardless of the conditions, the changing conditions. So I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. Maybe it's not in terms of words to describe it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure it's words necessarily, but like I said, there has to be, either way, there has to be some set of things that are at the top of a hierarchy of all things. And you can't just put anything you want at the top and have it make sense. And it has to actually have a lower quantity to it. Like I said, somehow visually represented has to have less quantities, therefore it takes up less space. And I don't even know what that would be. I just know that it would have to be only the best things that exist. It could be some set of them, and some of them could even be equal. I don't know, but somehow there has to be something at the very, very top that just is beyond everything else. So, in terms of, I would think it would be God. It's kind of like a family tree, you know how it all comes down from God. And you have God creates all these things, and then there's more things and more things and more things that come from these other things, that so on and so forth. And he's like, the source is at the top. So, therefore, I guess you could say that means that, well, obviously God is at the top, so that would mean he's the best. So, but I think in a hierarchy of, like, maybe a hierarchy of, like, guess how many things are connected or something, like how many things are dependent, how many a hierarchy of dependency, of codependency. God would be the least dependent since he's at the top. And with a family tree, you have them. There's an analogy with the physical connections and the lines. Since they're closer to each other, they're more connected. And they can't be connected to each other if they're way far apart from each other, because it just would mess up the entire physical anatomy of this. And an analogy to the laws of physics and logic and stuff. So that's why I think that God would be at the top. And that it's actually true that the less quantity, the better the quality. And so that backs up what I was saying about how quantity is better than quality, and that debunks major world religions. I made videos proving that a number of different ways. So there you go. That's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, the best way I could do it is that if God is connected to all these things, like he is, of course, but these other things are more codependent. So they're on the lower end. But these religions, all these major world religions, they're more codependent because they're more relied on, generally speaking. Therefore, they take up more space, and mind is not, and it's at the top. So there you have it. That is the ultimate proof I have for now, and I think that I probably would ever need to prove I've been right. Like I said, you can combine any hierarchy with any hierarchy and play with every single hierarchy you want, and it'll always show that quality is better. I mean, quality is better than quantity, and that quantity will never be as good as quality. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm out. Bye.